Hi, so I have tried many different things for optimal health and weight loss, and by far the game changer in all of it has been intermittent fasting combined with keto. Now, for years I was doing paleo, but I had to cut out a lot of the carbs that I was consuming because I got into like just food combining rules. So naturally I landed on keto, which that combined with intermittent fasting has just been a game changer for me in terms of just my ability to lose weight and to keep it off, and also just feeling just well overall. And I will say that in terms of keto, I try my best to do like the healthy keto. I know that there's a lot of information out there, and I try to stick with like what Dr. Berg recommends in terms of like, you know, just the fat and the protein ratio, and consuming 7 to 10 cups of green vegetables per day. So I started off my intermittent fasting journey, started off some years ago, and I really just became more focused, I would say probably within the last year. So the way I started it was, I'm currently doing OMAD 90% of the time, and OMAD stands for 1 meal a day, but I didn't start there. So initially I started off with just doing 3 meals a day and eliminating all snacking, right? And I would give myself like a certain amount of hours to consume those meals. Like I would have a set eating window. So after my body, and honestly, I think in all of my adjustment, that was the hardest part, to eliminate snacks in between meals, because I was like a huge snacker. So I went from 3 meals a day, no snacking, and then, like I said, that was the hardest, and then I cut it down to 2 meals, and then I shortened my eating window, right? So I did that for a few months, and I figured, hey, the natural progression would then just be to go and do 1 meal a day. And honestly, I thought that that would be extremely difficult, but it really was not as hard as I thought it was. So I made the transition to just 1 meal a day, and that is pretty much where I live for the most part. Now on holidays, or even sometimes over the weekend, I may do 2 meals a day just for the social aspect, because I don't want to live in such a way where I just feel like super restricted, because I think that when you do that, that's when you have the tendencies to like revert back to old habits. So most of the time during the weekday, I try to stick to just 1 meal a day. And what I have found, initially I think it was a little bit difficult because I wasn't consuming enough fat, and I noticed that when I eat enough fat, I am able to remain full until my next meal the following day. Now, I don't necessarily eat at a set time each day. I just try to make sure that there is a 18-hour fasting, that I've at least fasted for 18 hours. So then that means that, you know what, if I break my fast a few hours earlier than I did the previous day, that's fine, just as long as I've gone 18 hours with fasting. Because, you know, according to Dr. Berg and some of the other experts, they do say that's when you get the benefits really start to kick in. So I love intermittent fasting, and I plan to share some meal ideas with you. And for me, not everyone in my family necessarily go along with the keto lifestyle. I think they're more, I try when I cook to do more like paleo for them, and they do have what I guess we would consider the good carbs. So, but for me, I try to stay away from it. And there are days where if I break my fast around dinner time, where we're sitting and all eating together, more than likely they're having a keto meal. I don't announce it. It's just whatever I'm cooking for myself or eating that day, they end up having it as well. And I just don't make an announcement. So I think that it's the best way if you're struggling like with weight loss and just even sugar cravings. I definitely recommend giving intermittent fasting a try, along with combining that with the clean keto diet. There's a lot of information out there, and actually with somebody that I went to church with, and she lost a ton of weight, and she kind of introduced me to the keto diet, and I just started doing some research and realized that that probably was a good option for me, and I really like it. So I would just recommend that you do your research and try to do more the cleaner version, and not just sit there and consume a whole bunch of cheese and bacon and you're not consuming enough vegetables. Now, in terms of like counting macros and all that, I definitely do not track it. For me, I'm just like, that's just too much thought that goes into it. I eat what I consider to be, good, clean food. So for me, I just eat until I'm full, and I'm not concerned about counting and, keeping track of my net carbs or anything like that. And so far, it's worked well. The weight that I've lost, I've been able to keep it off. And I will say this, one of the things that I have noticed is that if I don't have enough sleep, it seems like I struggle with doing one meal a day. So I can't say that in addition to consuming enough fat, I think you also have to get enough sleep, because I was reading somewhere and I'm like, this is so true, that if you don't get enough rest, some chemical triggers in your brain that creates like a hunger or even cravings. And if I can find the study, I'll link it. If not, just Google it. The connection between a lack of sleep and just even overeating. So I find that if I get adequate amount of sleep and eat my fat and eat my vegetables and my protein, I am good. And it's not to say that I don't ever get like hungry in between meals, but it's not to the point of, oh my goodness, I can't wait until I eat. So I'm going to do a video just to share some mistakes that I made when I first started intermittent fasting, and but I just wanted to put this out there so that when I start posting videos with what I eat in a day for OMAD, you can kind of see where I'm coming from. All right, you be blessed.